Thank you very much, Dr. Yobu Seminialai. A big round of applause once more. I want to believe that a lot of you will have questions to ask on this particular topic because
briefly about breast cancer awareness. In fact, the two last speakers, they have done my job for me. It's like synthesizing, bringing the two lectures together. First, I will start by saying that Pink October, what is it exactly? We've talked about it. Pink October is commemorated worldwide to promote breast health awareness. So what we're going to do today is not just about breast cancer awareness, we're talking about breast health. And it's also to celebrate survivors, like Elvis they told us earlier. This is a group of people that have dared to go. And also to raise funds to help those victims who can support themselves. Remember, one of our lecturers said that one of the challenges they have is that sometimes they can't afford the full treatment. And I can tell you that as an oncologist, it's a huge problem. Because sometimes right from diagnosis, you have issues trying to diagnose, making sure that you have the proper diagnosis, not to talk of treatment. So it's still an issue. And so the most important thing is that Pink October stands for the sisterhood that will help women survive and conquer breast cancer. We know that it's not just a women's affair. Men do have breast cancer, but it's more common in women. And so why is breast cancer awareness important? First, globally, the incidence of breast cancer is increasing significantly. And the overall incidence is projected to increase by going to double by the year 2040. And the high incidence has been attributed to our lifestyle and a lot of emerging risk factors. And so we also know that breast cancer, as we have already been told, that is the most common cause of cancer death among women. In fact, it's believed that every 68 seconds, a woman dies from breast cancer somewhere in the world. And so, now than ever before, we need to focus on how to reduce the risk of breast cancer. And to succeed, according to Dr. Weiss, who is the founder of breastcancer.org, it's an NGO that is responsible for breast cancer awareness. She's incidentally an oncologist, and at the same time, a breast cancer survivor. He said to succeed, we have to take it seriously, and it's going to take a movement, and that movement is Think Pink, Live Green, which is the theme of our awareness campaign this October. Think Pink, Live Green. This represents the results of research that has put in place both established breast cancer risk factors as well as suspected emerging environmental factors that have also been implicated in the pathogenesis of breast cancer. So what she's saying in essence is that while we are still talking about breast cancer, we also have to talk about living green, which means that we have to change our lifestyle. Because one of the problems we are having, especially in this part of the world, is that because we have decided to adopt the Western lifestyle, we're eating a lot of processed food, as we have already been told. We are more sedentary, lack of exercise, and so people are becoming more obese, and when you're obese, we are exposed to a lot of factors. It's a risk factor for not just cancer, as the professor has explained to us, but also you are at risk of the other non-communicable diseases. And still, why is it important? It's important because with Think Pink, Live Green, we're able to reduce most of the risk factors which are modifiable. And so, at this point in time, it has become imperative for women and girls to learn to reduce their risk so that they can make the best choices every day of their lives. Just as we have also said that when you now eat meat pie, ask yourself, do I really need this meat pie? What's the calorie content? You begin to make choices, healthy choices, that will not only make you live healthy, but prevents your getting most of those chronic diseases. So Think Pink, Live Green is a guide to help you reduce the risk of developing breast cancer. So the lecture therefore is going to be divided into two segments. The first will be how to think pink. This will be followed by how to live green. How to live pink is all about being breast aware. And what is breast awareness? Breast awareness means becoming familiar with your breast. How your breasts look, how they feel, getting used to the size, to the shape of your breast. So that when you notice any change, you can quickly run to your doctor, because you have already been told. And for you to be breast aware, it's not just that you're looking for breast cancer, it's that you're taking charge of your health. And for breast cancer awareness, we will have what we call the 5-point code. And what we mean by the 5-point code, number one says, know what is normal for you. It's only when you know what is normal for you, then you will be able to notice any change and you can go to your doctor. The next one says you should know what changes to look and feel for. And not just know them, you must look and feel for those things and report any changes to your doctor. And by the time you're about 40 plus, you must at least go for screening, have a mammogram done for you. Why is breast cancer awareness important in this part of the world? First, you know that about 80% of Nigerian women seek treatment in an advanced, incurable stage, when nothing can be done for them. And most of them don't even know how to detect this the breast cancer early enough. Some are ignorant, some say it's not their portion. So that's really an issue. Quite like in developing countries where we have massive awareness, early detection programs being put in place, prompt medical attention. So what you have more of survivors. But here we have victims and the mortality rate is quite high. But the good news is that breast cancer today is no longer a death sentence. But the key to survival is early detection. So for us here, it's a problem, it's an issue. In fact, the first time I got involved with breast cancer awareness was when I went to do a program on epilepsy. I'm a hematologist in the US. And I got to this hospital, and in the breast cancer section, they had, apart from the management team, they had counselors, they have a section where they teach women how to do the breast self-examination themselves. They had pastors for those who need prayer. So it was quite comprehensive, and this we don't have it here. Because first we know that for us, especially in this part of the world, the breast is a very, very important organ for a woman. So a woman, the breasts are a symbol of beauty, womanhood. And it's not surprising most times when you talk about breast cancer, No woman wants to talk, no woman wants to hear about it because they are afraid. But unfortunately, not knowing about breast cancer does not protect you. So what is breast cancer? I know I'm repeating most of this because for us to be able to appreciate the BSc, the breast self examination. Breast cancer is the result of uncontrollable growth of abnormal malignant cells that can invade normal tissues as well as migrate to other organs such as the bones, the liver. So it's a multi-system disease. It starts with the breast, but the person could die from complications from maybe respiratory failure or even brain. The person can become unconscious and die from there. And it's life-threatening disease that affects women worldwide. And so some would say, what is actually the cause of breast cancer? We have already heard that the medical science itself cannot explain the exact cause of breast cancer. But there are what we know as certain risk factors. These risk factors are known to increase the chances of a woman developing breast cancer. And as we have said before, that having one or several of these risk factors does not necessarily mean that you will develop breast cancer, or it's good for you to know them. First, we have the uncontrollable risk factors. And number one is the fact that we are females, the female gender. Breast cancer is 100 times more common in women than in men. You already know that men do have developed breast cancer, but it's 100 times more common. And that's why when you talk about breast cancer most often, all people think about is women. And another thing is age. About 80% of women who are about 40 and above come down with breast cancer. But the unfortunate thing in recent times is that we're beginning to find breast cancer coming up in younger women, younger age group. And it can be very, very aggressive. In fact, one of the articles I came across, they found that even in Nigeria, that about 10% of breast cancer are found in women about 27, in fact less than 30 years. So it's really an issue. And you also have what we call the hereditary factors. These are uncontrollable. Somebody inheriting an abnormal gene. Like we've heard about Angelina Jolie. She did the surgery because she went for a genetic testing and they found out that she had this abnormal gene. You also have families where you have high risk factors. You find women with very strong family history. Overexposure to hormone, estrogen, which can occur due to early onset of menstruation, especially when it occurs before the age of 30. And you find in recent time the incidence is increasing because most of our girls are becoming and getting into menarche at a more younger age. You see a girl of 9 menstruating. And so it's an issue. Menopause after the age of 55, first child, you have heard of that before, and the use of oral contraceptives or hormone replacement therapy. Most times people don't tell us. You see young girls taking contraceptives for more than 5 days consistently. In fact, what you're doing is that you're putting yourself at risk. We also have what we've already mentioned, controllable risk factors. These are lifestyle-related changes that we can do something about. Obesity, high-fat diet, lack of exercise, increased consumption of alcohol, cigarette smoking, both active and secondhand smoke. I know some people would say that, thank God I don't smoke. But if you have a partner that smokes, or you work in a restaurant where people smoke, then you are equally exposed to secondhand smoke, and equally at risk as somebody who actually smokes. And then environmental pollutants, irrigation, especially here in the Niger Delta, they are flaring hydrocarbon, there are oil spillages all over the place, contaminating the soil and even the food. And I just pray that by the grace of God, in the next couple of years, we don't come down with different forms of cancer. And so we say, how does obesity actually increase the risk of breast cancer? Fat cells, for example, they make estrogen, and they also collect and store environmental pollutants, which can mimic estrogen. And what estrogen does is to stimulate the fat cells. Remember, when you look at the anatomy, which we're shown, you find out that a lot of fat cells there. You have more fat cells, more estrogen, and they can stimulate the breast cells. And cancer, by definition, is uncontrollable growth of the breast cells. And also there are some forms of hormone modulation associated with obesity, also chronic inflammation and all that. So now we have a big brief summary of the risk factors. What are the signs of breast cancer? At an early stage, you might not feel no signs at all. Your breast look normal to you. But then you could feel a lump accidentally by yourself, especially when you're used to doing your breast self-examination, or it could be felt by your partner, or when you go for routine tests. And one of the signs could be presence of lumps. We have mentioned it already, but I use this so that you will see, especially when you get to the BSc section, you will see the importance of this. So breast lumps, quite common. Remember I said I will be right upper quadrant. It could be changed in the size of the breast. If you look at this woman, see they are not of the same size. Still change in the size and the shape of the breast. Said about nipple retraction. This is normally not how the nipple should be. This is retracted. It also affect the skin of the breast. Here we have what we call the pudorage. The skin of the breast looks like the skin of an orange. So when you look at your breast and you feel there are changes around the skin, then it's not normal. It might not be cancer, but you must see your doctor. You can see dimpling of the breast and even a retraction of the nipple here. Sometimes you have thickening around the nipple. The mention of abnormal discharge, this is blood. We're supposed to have milk, but when you see blood, please, it's not normal. Remember, the first code says, knowing what is normal for you. So, these are methods of early detection for breast cancer. And the breast self-examination, the clinical breast examination, the ultrasound, mammography, which we have already mentioned. So for breast self-examination, I keep telling people, it's not because you are looking for cancer. Remember, for you to know what is normal for you, you have to do your breast self-examination. And what it does for you is that with routine or regular breast self-examination, you'll be able to know what is normal for you, the shape, the size of your breast. You'll be able to know as you feel it. Remember the second one said, feel. You must look and feel the breast. By feeling the breast, you'll be able to know the texture of your breast. And if you're used to doing your breast self-examination, as soon as you touch your breast, you will know that but you feel that's normal, you know, you've been doing it, you exactly know